Okay, masters, let us start our meditation. Kindly take a comfortable posture. Cross your legs. Take off your glasses if you are wearing any. Clasp your hands and close your eyes. Become aware of your external environment. Become aware of what is the temperature where you are sitting. When we say become aware, nothing to analyze, just noticing, just witnessing. Become aware of any sounds, if any, around you. Any smells. Again, do not analyze where is the smell coming from. Just witness. It's all about becoming aware, simply becoming a witness. Now let's witness our breath. Normal, natural breath. If thoughts arise, just become a witness. And they will disappear. Then become again a witness of your own normal, natural breath. Just observe your breath. Last 20 seconds. Slowly bring back your awareness to your physical body and to your surroundings. Let us be very grateful to everything in life. Last 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Slowly place your hands over your eyes for a few seconds. Whenever you're ready, you may open your eyes and take off your hands. Thank you, everyone, for being part of this wonderful group meditation. Hope you all had a wonderful journey. Yes. So, so now we move into our next part of today's session. We have Master Mehak. So welcome, Mehak. It's a great pleasure to have you on this platform. Welcome.
Thank you, Ram. Thank you so much. I'm really thankful to you and Madhu for giving me a chance to talk about this book. I am really passionate about this book, and I remember the first session that I took was in 2014. And right from that time to till now, I've been practicing whatever is there in the book, and it has literally changed my life. So I would
Yeah,
like to share the same experience with everybody here. So let
thank
me
you.
get
So maybe a couple of words about Mehak, friends. So we met Mehak and their family in Egypt, and that was a wonderful experience. All of the family is so much into meditation, spreading meditation, doing great work wherever they are. So very grateful that we had an opportunity to meet all of them. And Mehak, she's from Ludhiana, and she did her studies in Singapore, and then presently living in Netherlands. So, uh, Mehak, welcome again. Kindly share a little bit more about yourself, and then kindly go through this wonderful book, because that's also one of my favorite books that had really touched my life, transformed a lot
wow.
in my awareness. So very happy to hear about this book again through you.
Wow,
So
that puts a lot of pressure on me. Thank you. Thank you, Ram. Thank you so much.
thank you.
So I started meditating. I and my family, we started meditating in 2012. And then I think the very next year, my father, with the help of his friends, we built North India's first pyramid in Ludhiana. And then I think in 2014, I got the chance to meet Madhu and Ram, and the entire family was very, very impressed with them and so motivated and inspired. And then, of course, I was working at that time, but that was the time when I just started meditating. So a lot of changes happen when you just start meditating. I left my corporate job. I decided that was not my calling. I decided to go into research and PhD. I moved to Singapore. And now in the Netherlands, I work as a professor in a university, University of Groningen. So I'm a behavioral scientist where I do a lot of research on mindfulness. So I actually see the effects of mindfulness on people on a daily basis. So that is why this book is one of my favorite books, because Dr. Joe Dispenza does the same. So I will just share my screen.
It's wonderful to know that you're already doing your research work and then into the same field. So
Yes,
that's wonderful.
absolutely. Thank you. So, as I said earlier, what is so special about this book is that, this book talks about the scientific benefits of meditation. Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about a lot of studies across Stanford, Harvard, and Oxford, and talks about how meditation is such a powerful practice and it can really change your life. So, what exactly is a placebo? Placebo is basically the magic of your belief. So I remember when I was young, my younger brother would frequently complain about headaches and he would really demand some medicine for it. But my mom, she was smart enough to, give him a calcium tablet and say, okay, this is the medicine that you would need for your headache. And his headache would actually get healed. And it's only later we realized that this medicine, this sugar tablet or calcium tablet or whatever, worked as a placebo for him. Because he thought this was a medicine, he took it as medicine and his body produced the same benefits. So, this is what placebo actually does. In this case, the placebo was a calcium tablet. So, Dr. Joe Dispenza in his book talks about the power of placebo of your own mind. Is it possible to heal by thought alone without drugs or surgery? The truth is that it happens more often than you might expect. In UNP Placebo, Dr. Joe Dispenza shares numerous cases of people who've suffered from various diseases, right from cancer, heart attack, arthritis, depression, and shows how people have actually changed their lives just by the power of placebo. Uh, he does more than simply explore the history and physiology. He asks the question, is it possible to teach the principles of the placebo without relying on any external medicine? Is it possible that I can heal myself without a sugar pill? And this is how he answers the question. He answers the question that yes, of course, it's possible if only you create a placebo from inside you through meditation. And he does that beautifully. He provides a lot of scientific evidence. He even shares a lot of brain scans to show the effect of placebo and meditation just after one session of meditation. So let me just talk about him a little bit. So, who exactly is he? He's a doctor who suffered from a traumatic accident, and he was told by his colleagues and doctors that he would be bedridden all his life. His entire spinal cord was broken, and he was told that even if they insert a rod to keep him alive and to keep him fit, he would be wheelchair bound and he'd be bedridden all his life. As a doctor who knew the potential, effect of getting the spinal cord broken, he refused to accept the verdict of the medical doctors, and he decided to change his life. He decided to use the power of placebo. For the next 3 months, he decided not to listen to the doctors, and he just focused on himself. Every day for 2 hours, he would, in his mind, visualize reconstructing his spinal cord step by step. He would do that. Initially, of course, it was not easy, especially when you're bedridden. It's not very easy to imagine a healthy you. But he said he would start again if he would falter, because for a perfect body, you need a perfect visualization. He would imagine things like he's walking barefoot on the grass. He would imagine things like he's experiencing rain. He would imagine things like he's going out with his friends for dinner. And because he's imagining that, the brain actually thinks it's true. And no later than 3 months, he could actually walk. And he went and met those doctors, and the doctors were surprised. They couldn't believe that somebody who had his spinal cord broken can actually walk and talk like this. And right from that time, when he was 21 years of age, to till now, where he's so famous and taking so many workshops, there's been no complaint about his spinal cord. He's totally recovered physically and mentally. And this is the power of placebo, and this is what we will talk today. So, what exactly is a placebo effect? Placebo effect was discovered by a Harvard-educated doctor, Dr. Henry, who ran out of morphine during Second World War. Morphine is basically like anesthesia. They give you to numb your body so that you don't feel any pain. So when he ran out of morphine, a wounded soldier came. He decided to give a saline injection instead. Saline injection is simply water and salt. But he told the soldier that it's morphine. And because the soldier thought that he's been given morphine, he did not feel pain or he felt little pain. And this is the power of placebo. In this case, the placebo was a saline injection. And this is how the power of placebo works beautifully. And it's important to note that the stronger your conditioning, the stronger is your response to placebo. Now, what exactly does this mean? This simply means, again, I will tell you this with the help of an experiment. I do experiments myself, so I find it very easy to believe in things when they're proven by experiments. So there was this dog who was given food every time he heard a bell. And this experiment was repeated for a couple of days. So that eventually the sound of bell changed dog's chemical and physiological state without dog thinking about it. So every time the dog would hear a bell, his body would change as it would after eating the food. Without food, the body showed same physiological responses just with the help of a bell. So the bell conditioned the dog to respond in a certain way. And this is how, in our daily life, there are certain external triggers through which we condition ourselves subconsciously or consciously to respond in a certain way. The stronger the conditioning, the stronger the response. And how exactly can you strengthen your placebos? Placebos can be strengthened, as I mentioned earlier, by sitting in a meditation. Even if you sit in a meditation for like a 40-minute session or two 20-minute sessions and you practice placebo, positive belief of mind, there's nothing that can touch you. You will remain physically and mentally healthy because the power of mind will not let anything negative in your life to touch you physically or mentally. Something as simple as watching a comedy show can literally change your genes. So imagine the powerful act of meditation where you are in a where you are in the acceptance stage, where you are in the present moment, can literally change your life. So how, when you create beliefs in your meditation, how do these beliefs affect your placebos? Again, there was a case discussed in this book where they show that, in a hotel, they did an experiment. A study of two groups of maids were given different instructions. One group of maids were told that their job exceeds the healthy amount of daily exercise. Whereas the other group, the control group, was told nothing about it. And of course, 1 month later, the scientists found that the first group who were told that their job exceeds the daily amount of exercise, they lost 2 pounds with lower body fat and blood pressure. And the same scenario was replicated across different cultures and different genders. And they got the same result. This shows the effect of belief. Just because I believe that I'm doing a little more work and therefore I'm exercising a bit more, I can actually lose my weight. Whereas the other group who were not told anything about it, there was no external placebo, there was no change in their weight. And this is how powerful your placebos can be. Now, how exactly can you change how exactly can you change the effect of the placebo? So as we talked earlier about conditioning, how the dog was conditioned to respond in a certain way with the sound of a bell, in a similar format, we also are conditioned to certain things. So if I talk about my brother, he thought that because he's given aspirin, his headache heals. Therefore, the conditioning is linked from aspirin to headache healing. So this is his existing condition. What if I bring a new expectation to this condition? For instance, what if somebody who's suffering from arthritis goes to a hospital and a doctor, and the doctor tells him, hey, you've been taking this medication, it's been working fine, but there's a new medication that can literally heal you. And it's a miraculous drug and it's changed people's life. Now there's a new expectation. The person feels, wow, this is something new. I can expect a different result. And this different expectation gives a new meaning. Wow, I can live like other healthy people live. I can live a normal life. So, this is how, when you have a certain conditioning, but you change the expectation and therefore you change the assigned meaning, you get a new reward. So, you should be very conscious of whatever conditionings that you have and try and get new meanings to it. Try and create new expectations with your associated conditionings to create new realities in your life. Again, how exactly is it possible to change your life? Is it destiny? Can I actually change my reality? how exactly can I incorporate the placebo effect? Again, in a very simple case, in 1996, surgeon Bruce Mosley did a study. So he recruited 10 volunteers who were suffering from arthritis, and he divided them into two groups. And to the first five, he actually did the surgery. To the other five, he took them to the operation theater. He opened the knee cartilage, but he did not do any surgery. But both the groups were told that because of arthritis, the knee has been operated upon. And both the groups thought that, okay, they underwent a surgery and now they will recover. And that is what happened. For both the groups, there was no difference in their healing. He followed the results not only for the next 6 months, but also for the next 6 years. Again, he found no significant differences in the healing, simply because of the placebo that somebody has undergone a surgery and he will recover. At the end of the day, what worked was not the surgery, but the belief that, okay, I've taken the surgery and therefore I will recover. This is how powerful your beliefs and your thoughts can be. And the same surgery was also replicated with a higher number of patients and produced the same results. And these studies happen across universities in Harvard, Stanford, and Oxford, with such people showing such miraculous results. If thoughts can affect our body so much, then imagine what our daily thoughts can do to us. What our daily thoughts that we think, negative or positive, can affect our body. Can you be your own placebo? And that is the question with which Dr. Joe Dispenza answers. Yes, you can be your own placebo, but with the help of positive thinking. Because if you are not thinking positive, essentially you are entrapped in nocebo, which is the opposite of placebo. That you're creating negative situations in your life simply because you're thinking negative. If you can reverse that, and if we can think positive, we can actually create positive situations in our life. And research has shown that. So, for instance, there was this group of people. There were certain pessimists and optimists in the group, and they were cancer patients, and they'd gone for chemotherapy. And they were told that chemotherapy will create certain side effects. They will perhaps experience nausea and fatigue. So people who were pessimists, they actually started experiencing the symptoms even before they underwent the process of chemotherapy. And this is how powerful the thoughts can be. They can produce the symptoms even before you're given the medicine. So it's very important that you're very careful about your thoughts, that all of us are very careful of what we are thinking, that we are very conscious that we only think positive thoughts and not let negative thoughts hamper our reality. So how does the placebo work in our brain? Why does placebo help me in creating a reality that I want? So according to neuroscience, mind is brain in action, and it works like a complicated computer. So as soon as I think a new thought in my brain, I am charged neurologically, chemically, and genetically. I create thousands of new neuron connections in a matter of seconds. With a single thought, I create a lot of neuron pathways and neuron connections. And the more I think the same thought, the connections become stronger. With the thought, now is the language of the brain, but the language of the body is the feeling. So a body releases a protein matching with that thought, creating the same feeling. So if I'm nervous in my body, I will start feeling restless because the feeling has to match with the thought. Now, again, with that same feeling, I create a thought matching with that feeling. So it creates a loop of a thought, feeling. And sometimes people can get trapped in this conditioning, in this loop. And it becomes very difficult to come out of it because the thought has created a feeling, the feeling has created another related thought, and the thought has created another related feeling. So every time I'm thinking a strong negative or a positive thought, I'm actually creating a conditioning for myself. Because with single thought, I create 1,000 neuron connections in a matter of seconds. So imagine if I can, in meditation or otherwise, I can practice positive thinking followed by positive feelings and do that over a period of time, I can actually create new choices, new behaviors, new experiences, and a new reality for sure. Because what I think and how I feel has to get reflected in my environment. And this is the power of positive thought. So, what happens if I don't think positive thoughts and if I just have one negative thought? For instance, there's a child who was scared of swimming and he had a bad experience. He was about to drown and he felt anxious and insecure. Of course, this reflected in the body as well. His heart rate increased, he increased his blood pressure, etc. Now, this is just one event which has happened. But with this one event, the child has linked swimming with anxiety. Okay, nothing if the incident just stops here. But of course, the child comes back, talks to his parents and say, you know what happened? This is what happened. Now, in the mind cannot distinguish between a real event and an imagined event. The mind would think that this incident has happened again. The conditioning becomes even more stronger. Then the child will go and talk to his dad, talk to his mother, talk to his friends. The mind is thinking that the event is happening again and again and again and again. The conditioning is becoming stronger and stronger. And this is how we create our own reality. Our thoughts and our expectations unconsciously forecast our future. If we change this and we change the auto suggestions, we change the expectation to a new expectation, we literally can create a new reality. So, for instance, when I was asked to teach online because of COVID restrictions for the first time to a large group of people, I was a little nervous in the beginning because it's different from teaching in a physical class. You have to, take care of a lot of things. You have to keep the students motivated. You have to show your face. You have to look in the screen. So I was very nervous. But then I realized that, I'm creating a conditioning because I've read this book and I thought, no, I have to change my expectation. Then I visualized a scenario where I'm taking a class and it's going very well. And I consciously worked on it to add a new meaning to it. And it actually did work well. Had I not done that, there was a very high chance that I would have faltered because in my mind, I created a conditioning of online class and nervousness, which I deliberately changed by practicing a different expectation, added a different meaning to create a new reality. And this is what we can do on a daily basis. So once you've accepted a thought, of course, sometimes you say, okay, I always think positive, but I don't see positive results in my life. It's not as easy as it's being said right now. Of course, once a person accepts a thought, you have to believe it. You have to surrender. You have to trust that it will end well. Because only with belief and surrender can you go across rationality and actually experience the new reality. Only if you believe and surrender can you feel the new reality. So if I say that I practice positive affirmations every day, I practice positive affirmations before going to bed, I practice positive affirmations after getting up, but I don't see any changes in my life. That's because you don't feel it. If you're saying I'm rich, but in your body is restless, that means the feeling is not true. In your mind, essentially what happens? The mind does not capture the words. The mind captures the frequency behind the words. So even if you're saying something, but you're not feeling it, that is not being registered. So it's very important that you feel it. And this can happen only when you surrender, when you accept that, yes, this thought will come true, you believe it, and then you surrender. And gratitude, of course, helps. A very important thing to highlight here is that when you are in stress, which we are nowadays, we've become accustomed to stress, stress decreases your suggestibility. It heightens your analytical mind. You become over analytical and you start doubting everything. Therefore, stress is a very big obstruction when you have to do such things. So please try and de-stress yourself by practicing meditation every day. Another important element here is that, when you are under stress, essentially your 5% of conscious mind is trying to overpower your 95% of your subconscious mind. At the end of the day, whatever thoughts and feelings you're having should get registered in the subconscious mind. How does that happen? How can I change my subconscious mind just with the 5% of my conscious mind? You can do that by meditation. If you meditate every day, you are basically accessing your subconscious mind. You basically lowering your stress levels. If you meditate and practice the effects of placebo in meditation, you can become a very powerful person because of your positive placebos in life. So a normal adult thinks about 60 to 70,000 thoughts in one day, out of which 90% are repeated. So if somebody is a 40-year-old person, essentially that person has no new thoughts. It's the same loop of thoughts, feelings. And if the person thinks negative thoughts, then imagine there are no new thoughts, only negative thoughts creating his reality. In this scenario, two things happen. First, as I just mentioned, the mind gets conditioned and ruled by body. And second, it leads to emotional addiction. So if I'm feeling X levels of stress today and I'm having the same thoughts, not severe thoughts, but same thoughts, I will feel 2X levels of stress the next day because the body is addicted to stress. Now it needs a higher amount of stress to get the stimulation. So if I'm angry today, I'll be angrier tomorrow. If I'm worried today, I'll be more worried tomorrow to feel that same feeling of activeness. So even with the same thoughts, without any severity of the thoughts, if I'm feeling stress X today, I'll feel stress 2X tomorrow. Because the body is addicted to stress. It would need a higher level of stimulation to feel the same amount of stress and the effects of that stress. So imagine as a 40-year-old man who has repetitive thinking is actually essentially just creating a negative scenario and negative situations in his life. And what does stress do? Stress was basically created for human beings as a flight or a fight effect. So when civilization started, human beings lived in jungles. So flight and flight was really helpful. But now the flight and fight syndrome is manifested in a lot of small situations. For example, somebody fights with his or her spouse, stress. Money issues, stress. Physical illness, stress. Gaining weight, stress. All these small situations create stress, the flight or fight syndrome. In that situation, the body becomes like a country that spends 98% on defense and therefore has no budget to spend on anything else. So if you are under stress, there is no way your conscious mind, 5% of conscious mind, can actually overpower your 95% of your subconscious mind. Because stress, your body is exerting a lot of energy on your stress. Again, what happens in such a case? In such a case, meditation comes to our rescue. Meditation is a very, very powerful practice. It does a lot more than you can imagine. 8 weeks of regular meditation changes about 1500 genes. It reduces blood pressure, it reduces heart rates, all this we know. But it can actually produce epigenetic changes in life in your body. How big that is. Meditation can change your genes. So when people say that they have hereditary diseases like sugar and diabetes and blood pressure, they can actually reverse it with the help of meditation. When you are in meditation, you can actually access your subconscious mind. You're truly focused on your attention, and you can make your inner thoughts more powerful than the outer environment. That's when your inner thought becomes your placebo, because then it is much more powerful than your outer environment. With that thought, you produce the same feeling. And therefore, you begin to change, your choices change, and you create a new reality for yourself. If you practice the placebo effect in meditation, there's a very high chance that you will remain physically and mentally fit all your life. And this, I'm talking from experience. When I was doing my PhD, I started experiencing a lot of anxiety symptoms. And I was so busy. I had not practiced my placebo effect for a long time. It had been 6 7 months. I was completely engrossed in my work and in my research. I started experiencing a lot of anxiety effects. My hands started shivering. I would go to my supervisor, my hands would start shivering. I wouldn't know what to talk and how to talk. That's when I decided that I really have to create some space here, take a short break, and again come back to this book. Again, there have been phases where this book has literally saved my life. And I started practicing meditation with placebo again. I started envisioning myself being more confident. I started envisioning more stronger, mentally stronger scenarios for me. And I think within 2 weeks, my symptoms just vanished. Doctor did give me a medicine. I did not eat it because Patriji is against medication and I follow him. And I knew that I would heal myself. And literally, the physical effects of anxiety that I had experienced vanished simply because I had taken a placebo with positive thoughts. And this is not something that you just do one day and it will lead you for life. This is something that you have to practice on a daily basis, on a regular basis. It, again, so when I'm saying meditation can actually produce epigenetic changes, it's not a stretch, because at the end of the day we are all energy. We are all made of atoms. And what is an atom? Science says that atom is 99.9999% energy. So whatever things that you have in you, whether it's DNA or genes or whatever, everything is energy. So the way you think and way you feel, you'll attract your energy accordingly. Just as a fan spins at different speeds, atoms vibrate at different frequency. So when you change your belief at a subconscious level, you change your frequency, you also change your life. You change the situations that you attract. Reality of many events already exists. Science has proven that. One that you give attention to will manifest in your life. So it's up to us if we give our attention to negative scenarios or positive scenarios. And it's very important to note that the attention is not only conscious, but it's also subconscious. So it's very important to be very conscious of the thoughts that you are thinking, to let go of stress, to practice mindfulness and meditation every day, so that the reality of the future event that you attract is always positive. And a lot of science and a lot of experiments have shown that even old people who experience symptoms related to old age, they start feeling younger when they are given external placebos that suit them. People believe that they inherit diseases like diabetes, etc., through their genes. And there are a lot of external nocebos like media that reinforce this. Yes, this is genetic. Yes, this is hereditary. You should get this. And in our mind, we create this conditioning that this is a hereditary disease. So, yes, this will come. I cannot help it. But this is not true because most of these diseases are lifestyle diseases. And science has shown that fewer than 5% of people on this planet are born with any hereditary disease or with the same genetic condition. Even the twins with the same genes have different outcomes in life. So, how can something which is claimed as hereditary disease can attack you if you do not allow it to attack you? That's why it's very important to be able to control our thoughts and our perceptions. Scientists now believe that genetic expressions fluctuate on a moment to moment basis. So basically, you're creating your reality on a moment to moment basis. You and I, we can create our reality and change our reality just right now at this second. A Swedish study found that 6 months of exercising changed 7,000 epigenetic changes and almost 30% of all our genes. So, if laughing and physical exercise and mindfulness can actually change you at your core, at your energy level, imagine the kind of future you can have just by controlling your thoughts and your perceptions and how you interact with the external world. This is how powerful your placebo can be. The placebo, the belief in in the magic of curing yourself, the belief in the magic of positive words, the belief in the magic of positive intentions and positive feelings. So as I mentioned before, it's very important that you change your not only your conscious thinking but your subconscious thinking. It's easier said than done because it's not easy to access your subconscious thinking. And this is where meditation comes to our rescue. Meditation is basically a state of theta or alpha state where it becomes very easy to access our inner world, our subconscious mind. So, whatever suggestion, whatever placebo we give at this stage, there's a very high chance that it will get accepted because we are directly accessing our theta and alpha state with the help of meditation. Meditation helps us to go beyond the analytical mind, which gets heightened in our stress. And therefore, meditation is simply that. It basically, even if you don't personally, I can tell you by experience, even if you don't visualize something and you practice simple Anpansati meditation where you have no thoughts, even that can produce miraculous results because at the end of the day, you're canceling your conditioning. A simple practice of focusing on your breath can have such marvelous consequences. It can literally change your physical and your mental life. So, in this book, Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about meditation as a way of taking placebo every day. He suggests that there are 2 times a day that are most conducive to meditation. One is when you get up in the morning. Again, you have a higher access to your subconscious. And the second is before you're going to sleep, which is a similar state. He says that you should meditate for at least 45 minutes a day. And Patriji says you should meditate a minimum, if you're 30 years of age, you should meditate for like 30 minutes, which is like the minimum. Of course, the more you do, the better. Your body and your mind will fight in the beginning because you have created a lot of conditioning. You will hear negative voices. You've conditioned yourself to become frustrated, impatient, or victimized. Just be aware of these distractions. Just like your mind, your body will try to distract you. And you all are like meditators and you know this. You've been through this. So I'm just trying to reiterate what he said in his book. And as we slowly master our mastery over these thoughts, we become greater than our mind and greater than our body. And sooner or later, we surrender. We surrender to the universe, we surrender to our mind. And when the mind and the body start working together, that's when you can create powerful placebos for yourself, for your physical health, for your mental health. It's a very, very empowering practice. And if you do it once, it can literally change your life. And this is the brain scan that Dr. Joe Dispenza has shared. Just this is the change in the brain just with a single session of meditation, just a single session of no thought meditation. Imagine when we practice meditation every day and we do it as a daily practice, even twice a day, how marvelous and miraculous our body and our mind will be. And this is it. And that is why I really like this book. Thank you so much for listening to me. And this is a book that really, really inspires me. And this is the book that I fall back on whenever I feel that I'm faltering or I'm, facing some situation in life. And I really hope that this book helps you as well. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Mehak. That was wonderful. All the content you have shared is so directly entering into our subconscious mind. You had such a nice energy, and who else can share it uh, other than who had already experienced it, put it into practice, and who is continuously doing, let's say, working on day-to-day basis on this. So perfect. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Um, Friends, anyone would like to ask any questions or share anything, kindly go ahead. Feel free, unmute yourself.
Hello, Ram.
Hi, Sahir.
I want to thank you so much for the meditation session first, and I want to talk to Mehak to thank her so much. I love Joe Dispenza, and I love this book. I read it since some time ago, but I feel like it's better now for me to listen to it through Mehak. It was amazing.
Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you so much.
yeah, the way you introduced it was the most beautiful way I've heard about this book. Thank you so
Thank you.
much, Mehak.
Thank
Thank
you. My
you.
pleasure.
Thank you, Sahir. I would like to share about this conditioning, Mehak. You know, as a kid, I had issues with with my health issues regarding cold, particularly. And whenever I used to take anything, any cold substance, ice creams, cold water, I used to get a running nose. And I kind of conditioned myself that whenever you take cold things, and whenever, if by chance you take anything cold in winters, you will get sick. So that was the conditioning I have got, and it remained long in my life until I arrived to Europe in the year 2005. And it was in December I arrived in Italy, and then going out with colleagues, they said after the dinner, let's go out. We went out, and they took me to a ice cream shop. Italy is pretty famous for homemade ice creams. And then I looked at it and said, winter. And it was too cold, um, in Italy in December, very cold. And then they said, let's have ice cream. I said, no, it's impossible. How you guys are eating ice cream in the winter? Don't you get cold? So I said, what are you talking about? It's the best thing to have. So I said, no, I'm not going to take it. you know so after few times this had happened, somehow I started to realize that no, probably it is something to do with my way of thinking. I had already been meditating, yeah, and then I became conscious about my own programming. Then slowly and slowly it disappeared. I started to eat, and no more I had running nose. So that part of conditioning our mind, it took, at least to experience seeing things in a different, uh, you know, environment for me to recondition and reprogram myself. So
That's amazing. So basically, you added a new expectation because you saw that this is not conventional. This is simply amazing. Very nice.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes, we have Punita ji. Yeah.
Yes, good evening. First of all, thank you, Ram, for the wonderful meditation. Mehak, thank you so much. It was a lovely, lovely sharing. Yeah, actually, I do believe how you train your mind. Like I've started believing that now more. Yes, but I just have a question. Does this effect work for others also? I mean, if I am like, suppose like my child, like if I keep training my mind, like suppose he's going to like do like this, or he is going to behave in a certain manner, like something like that. So does it work on the other person also if you are thinking that way?
Well, this is a very good question. And, I've had this question in my mind as well, and I've tried to answer it in my own way. I think
Mhm,
what you do essentially, you do for yourself. You can change your physical reality, but the core comes from you. So you
mhm,
change, and therefore your situations around you change. If you have to change something really specific in your child, then your child should
mhm.
practice this act of
Meditation.
mindfulness and meditation. And of course, things will change more beautifully. But I do feel that energetically, if you're changing, then people around you change as well. So in that
Mhm,
way, you of course help them. But if you really want something to be changed in your child, then it would be very, very helpful if he does this practice, or even
right.
simple meditation. The
Yeah.
no mind state is equally helpful,
Yes. Yeah.
because
Thank you
for
so
kids
much.
it's difficult
Yeah.
to visualize. Yeah, no problem.
Yes, yeah. And I have already shared this before in Madhu's session, but yeah, I would also share this. Like I had told her initially, I used to just exercise with just a thought in my mind that I want to, like, lose weight because people are telling me, like, I'm on the heavier side or whatever it may be. And I found out it does not make you happy because you are doing it just for somebody else and it goes
Yeah,
on for few days and I leave it, like
yeah.
I've given it up. But after joining their sessions and after doing it almost, I think now for more than 2 months, I have started realizing, and now I do it for myself. I just
Amazing.
do it to make myself happy. And okay, lose if I lose weight, it's an extra bonus. That's how I take it now. But
No,
yeah,
I suffer from the same problem, and I can tell you about it. So there was a
mm,
time when I really wanted to lose weight, and there were people around me who would tell me that it's difficult to lose weight after a certain
mm,
age. It's difficult and blah blah. And I starved myself. This was before meditation. I did not lose even a single pound. It was
right.
that bad. But now, if I hear anything negative, I just stop it there and then. I know, my weight depends on me and my, of course,
Yeah,
karma and how much I eat and whatnot, and I see the effect.
right.
The kind of conditioning that I've done in the past, I try to undo it, and I definitely see the results of that as well without even trying.
Mhm. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to share. So now it really makes me happy and I look forward for my exercises and all. Yeah.
That's
Thank you
amazing,
so
Punita.
much.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, we have Pooja ji. Yeah, kindly go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Mahak. It was really, really beautiful explanation of the book and the compilation you have done. For me, the insights you have explained, it can be explained to a child and believe in it, because your passion of belief came through really, really grateful for me. Um, if you don't mind, I just wanted to ask you a couple of questions. Do you run session for the younger generation? Because
Mhm.
younger generation does like to meet up people like you and have a scientific explanation like you did it, to believe in it, and like to whether they have a father or a mother like figure, they think, oh, it's for an older generation, it's not for us. So I will request you, if you don't do it, and if you can do it, that's my passion. How do I involve the younger generation into it?
No, that's my purpose as well. That's actually one of my life's purposes. And that's why I'm doing research in mindfulness, because I get convinced by something if I see scientific benefits of that
Yes, yeah,
thing,
yeah.
and if I personally experience it. So I have a WhatsApp session that's just for kids and younger kids and adults of my age. where we talk about the scientific benefits of meditation and books on the scientific benefits of meditation. I don't run classes because I don't get a lot of time, but I do take sessions with Madhu and what my father does in Ludhiana. But definitely I can share my number, and
Thank you.
if you want, you can, I can add your child.
And can I ask you another question? Because it's beautiful you have identified at such a young age your purpose and you have moved to your purpose. So that's a great bit. When you talked about it takes a time in the meditation after when you started and it takes some time, did you do some experiment of average? How many weeks or days does it take to an average person who does not believe in meditation and start doing it for even 10 minutes a day? Just as a curiosity.
No, so I
Wanted to know
believe
if
in
you've
what
done
Patri
something
sir
on that.
says, because I have seen it across my friends also, 40 days.
Mhm. 40
Because in
days.
40 days a lot of changes happen, and I've seen that in my friends also. Whenever my friends come to me, I tell them, don't judge the practice, don't judge whether you think you're doing it right or wrong, because that's the main concern. Just do it for 40 days without questioning yourself, and you will surely see the effects. And people actually see the effect. They see effect in their productivity, they see effect in their relationship, and
Yeah.
you definitely see the changes.
And do you run, apart from WhatsApp group, any YouTube channel where you?
No, I basically, again, just like Madhu and Ram, we follow PSSM. So we have PMC Hindi, PMC English, a lot of sessions. My mother and my father, they have book sessions on Hindi on the same book. You can just go to PMC Hindi or PMC English, or Madhu's YouTube session is also amazing.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So I believe Madhu and Ramji may be actually recording this, and if they are not, it will be useful, because I would like to replay with my younger generation here in UK to showcase, because that will be a very powerful explanation of scientifically thinking and believing in it. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Poojaji.
Thank you, and keep in doing it. You yourself is a very inspirational woman.
Thank you, Poojaji. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
So
Thank
are
you.
Yeah, Poojaji, we have the live streaming of these happening on the Beam channel. So I'm pasting, let's say I'm providing that link in the chat. You can reach it out. Yeah. Yes, Indraji.
Namaste, Ramji. Namaste, Mehak. It's me, Pratap here. I'm a doctor by profession. I mean, as Mehak said, the conditioning is quite essential, and the examples what she has given is really, really good, and which have been well proven. I'm an anesthetist. I put my patients to sleep before coming to surgery. I mean, any patient who is coming for surgery is very, very anxious. And as an anesthetist, I want my patients to be very calm, and I always condition their mind even before putting them to sleep. That is quite essential to bring them back from their sleep as well. So which during my experience as an anesthetist for the last 30 years, which I've been doing, so the positive conditioning under which they go to sleep, the same effect will be shown after they wake up from the operation. They are very calm and quiet. That's what I've noticed.
That's amazing. Can I quote you, and whatever you said, and add it in my presentation, because this is really nice.
Absolutely.
And it's so good to have healers like you, who understand the depth of conditioning and positive affirmation. That's so beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Pratapji. Yes, Madhu.
Hey, Mehak.
Hi, Madhu.
Wonderful, wonderful presentation, Mehak. I really loved it. The energetic presentation that you have given, my goodness, is so. It is straightly going to the minds, of how to program right from now. And regarding my experience, Mehak, I was not knowing about the placebo effect and all these things. So in 2009, I started practicing meditation, and thanks to my husband and his parents that they have introduced meditation to me. And before that, I was having a belief that meditation is not for the younger generation. No. So that I was conditioned with that, because in India I say, like meditation is for the old people or the monks and all these things. So I've when something happens to you and you have to really reflect upon. So that was the time when I practiced the meditation. Then I have reconditioned my mind, saying that everybody should meditate. That is one thing. And the other thing is, like, I was a very shy girl because of my upbringing, because my father was very protective and we were not exposed to the society and all these things. We never spoke in public, all these things. So I again conditioned myself that I'm unable to talk, or I cannot talk in public. So that was the condition that was I was having before practicing meditation. As you said, as Dr. Joe Dispenza and many masters, including Patriji, says, meditation is the key. When you practice meditation, everything, it reverses everything. So I reversed the shyness into the strength, that I have strength within me to speak my truth. And yes, that's how I created my own placebo. I became my own placebo. So, and listening to you and your experiences, Mehak, with the beautiful presentation, thank you so much. And very, very inspiring. Thank you so much for giving your time today, and like, for
Thank you,
informing us.
Madhu. You and Ram have always inspired me. The kind of work you do, I do very little compared to that. But whatever you've shared, it's actually very beautiful. And my mom had the same lesson like you. She also realized that she's conditioned to be nervous in front of people, and then she worked on it. And this is what meditation does, right? Even without knowing about the placebo effect, you start working on yourself and you start identifying the links. How beautiful is that?
That's true, Mehak. Thank you once again, Mehak.
Thank you, Madhu. Thank you.
Yes, friends. Anyone else? I see Nishaji. Do you want to share something? Okay. Anyone else? Yeah, Shirin, please go ahead.
Yes, that was truly, Mehak, inspirational. Absolutely magnificent. I love Joe Dispenza. And, he's just magic to me. He's wonderful. And yes, it's true. I've worked with, over the last, I think, 35 years, I've worked with full-blown AIDS and substance abuse. So the power of the mind, mindfulness, that moving from positive thinking, uh, and I think I was at the time of NLP when that came in with John Grinder and Richard Bandler and all these guys. So I trained with all of them and
Wow.
saw that was like magic. In fact, I think I did a timeline with John Grinder, and I hadn't even done a master practitioner at the time. And when I was working for AIDS organization in Terence Egan's Trust, and the first person that I took on this timeline, and I think it would have been because I was so involved in meditation. I don't think, now I know what meditation gave me. 40 years ago, I didn't know what it was giving me. I just did it. It was something you did, and I did it. And the combination of doing a timeline with NLP and being able to be in that no mind state. Now I can look back and think, oh my God, that's what was going on. I can decode myself. Yeah, because it's so incredible that to see that the power of the mind, the power that you can actually create anything you want. Yeah, often when I listen to people, I'm just listening to the language of how they taking away. And I think when I saw clients as a psychotherapist, I never ever asked them, because it was mainly full-blown AIDS. I never ever said, went into the illness. I just said, what is it you want to achieve? And we just worked and I'd watch how they would drop their illnesses.
Wow.
It's like, this is magnificent. I'm so happy that you're doing this. I know it's only, well, I think in the last 10, 15 years that my husband did. Sashan was director of a company. Then he took early retirement, went to study Ayurvedic medicine, and was very into the mind and did mindfulness. And then I watched mindfulness. Oh my God, this is, that is so essential, that ability in the moment to see what's happening, because of the choice of being able to change everything, that. And I'm also very passionate about awakening and enlightenment. So I'm very into Adyashanti, Eckhart Tolle, and all these kinds of, these kinds of people. And it was like, oh my God, you've got all the programming, and when you can change this programming, and in the state of mindfulness, you have the choice of how that can run forward. And then you have the choice of meaning and being and liberation and self-realization and God realization, so it is just that continuum is like, wow, just fantastic.
That's amazing. You have so much of experience and so much of wisdom. You've just beautifully rephrased and summarized the book so beautifully. That's amazing. And when I was presenting, your and Ram's acknowledgements like this were form of positive affirmations for me. So thank you for that.
No, you were wonderful. It's really, really magnificent. I get so excited when I see things like this, I just think, oh God, yes, this is what we can, we are
powerful
gods. We can make it happen. And if you don't like how your life is running, change your thinking, change yourself. I know somebody asked the question about what about the other person? Forget about the other person. Just keep working on yourself, because as you change, the whole world around you
changes. Absolutely. That's so profound.
That's great. Thank you so much. You're inspirational.
Thank you so much. So are you.
Thank you.
That's wonderful. Wonderful, Shireen. Beautiful energy you just come and share. Wonderful. So grateful to you. Another experience I want to share, as just Shireen and you both were conversing, I remembered when I was so young, probably, 11 years, 12 years, then my mom said that they had looked into my horoscope, and they said, no, this guy is going to go across the world. So I never understood what it is, only thing that deeply ingrained into my memory. And how programming, how things work as we speak and as we hear and as we take into ourselves. And then as I grew up, I forgot it, but somewhere it remained within me. And when I look back, I realize that all those, let's say, beliefs that somehow remained within me were had truly become the manifestations. And looking back, I realize I'm nothing but just a reality unfolding out of my own thoughts or out of my own belief systems. So I kind of become also very careful within brackets, because truly it's so very real that anything that just crosses our consciousness, our thought, our minds, can utterly become a reality. So this science that you have shared, and all these great people keep on speaking, including the spiritual masters, right, become conscious about each and every thought, is just because we, without knowing or unknowingly, either way, we are creating our own reality due to the way of how we think, how we are said about ourselves, how we condition ourselves. So it's also truly important even for the parents, even for everyone, because every word we utter should be so properly looked upon, because we are most probably creating a reality in someone else's life, including ours. So
that is amazing, and you're right. And sometimes, there are times when I try not to visualize something, because sometimes you don't know what it is that is right for you. And that is where I rely on Anpan Sati meditation. No thinking, no whatever will happen. If I'm vibrating at a higher frequency, I will of course attract things at a higher frequency. So that's very good. And same thing happened with me when I was really, really young. Somebody came, an astrologer, and told my mother, "Ye to saat samundar paar jayegi. She'll go across 7 seas or whatever." And then of course that stayed with me. And now I'm just hopping from one place to another. So you see, that is also a conditioning that I didn't even realize I had. Amazing.
yeah, super. We have also Archana. Yes, Archana ji, please go ahead.
Hi, good evening, Ram. Good evening, everyone. I'm really grateful, Ram, for introducing us to Mehak. She's yet another gem, like I've, in this whole, our PSS moment. And I'm very glad to hear you today, Mehak. Your wisdom was like free flowing. I was thinking like, will there be any halt or anything like that? But it was just, free flowing, and like I can imagine you might be so much well versed with the, knowledge or whatever this book provides or anything else as well. So great to hear you. And I have a question, so we keep thinking something, for example, like there's some kind of a negative or maybe, something which is not beneficial to us. We have been thinking throughout our life, like maybe for 40 plus years. Okay. And and that's what shows in our life. So how long does it take for us, for example, okay, I'm trying to change my thought process. So how long does it take to manifest that?
Thank you,
For
Archana.
example,
That is a very good
haha,
question. And thank you so much for
haha,
your kind words. So
haha,
I have tried this, and I think based on Dr. Joe's book and my personal experience in mindfulness, I think it just
mhm,
depends on the power of your thought. It can happen in a
mhm,
second if the power of your thought is enough to decondition what you've thought before. But
mhm,
essentially that doesn't happen. So that's why you have to practice day in and day out to basically make that belief more powerful than your pre-existing belief. So if Dr. Joe
okay.
Dispenza can rebuild his spine in
Hmm.
4 weeks, imagine what you can do.
Oh,
It just
okay.
depends. He said that in the first 2 weeks he would
Mhm,
read, he would spend 4 hours in visualizing simply because he wasn't able to put a lot of belief in it. It's only after a lot
mhm,
of practice that he could strengthen his belief, and only after that he achieved what he could achieve. So at the end of the day, if you can believe truly with your heart, your soul,
mhm,
your mind, your feelings, and your emotions, can happen in a second.
mhm,
But for that belief to become that powerful, it
hmm.
actually takes some practice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right, because that I have seen in one of the, like when I was into this kind of trying out different kind of manifestation. I totally observed that, like one thing, like like I totally put my whole mind, body, soul on something, and you'll not believe it happened in 4 hours. It is like totally unbelievable thing. But there are times, like for example, like throughout my life I've been working out, and I say to myself, अरे यार मैं जितना भी काम करूं, मैं कुछ भी करूं, मेरे ऊपर तो दिखता ही नहीं है फर्क. So it really never showed. So now that I'm reading or listening to you all and reading all this book, okay, now I want to change my thought process. So how long does it take? So that was my, and I'm really trying, I'm consciously trying to, change my thoughts when it comes to, because that's my passion. And I want to, because 45 plus years, I've been thinking that, for example, like
No, but
for,
that is also a
not,
conditioning that if you're thinking for something for that long,
huh,
you won't be able to decondition that conditioning. Just get over that as well.
huh,
Forget about
but,
everything and just start from with the new
acha,
expectation completely.
okay. So zero and then just be on the higher
Yes,
frequency side, and
absolutely.
okay,
Whatever you tell
okay,
your mind and brain, it will
huh.
believe. If you tell it that it's fresh and new expectation, that how it will be. That's how it will be. So just forget about 45 years or 40 years. That is putting a lot
Oh.
of pressure on your mind and your thoughts.
Yeah, I feel like, am I, pressurizing myself or my, mind? But yeah, that's good, because I was always wondering, how long does it take to decondition the old habits and everything?
Go with the level of zero. It might happen today. You
Hmm.
never know.
Okay, thank you,
No
thank
problem.
you so much for that confidence.
My
Thank you, Ram.
pleasure.
Thank you so much for introducing us to Mehak. Really wonderful to listen to her. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank
Archana.
you. Thank you. Yes, Shirin, you want to add something?
Yes. I wanted to say that the last speaker was asking how long it takes. And really every day is a new day. And, the past does not equal the present and the future. So, if you can come from every day is a new day, magic and mirror, whenever I run a workshop, I say to people, I say, imagine I'm a magician and you can have anything you want, because This is where we've got to come from. If you can come from that place, that it can happen. Also, look at the people that are around you, because very often you are very influenced by people that are around you. You know, I can remember a time when I started doing lots of positive things and learning all new things. 50% of the people that I knew fell away. You know, many of the people that I just didn't resonate at that place anymore. So, but change can happen instantly. It does not have to take a lot of time. And I think if I was a Jungian therapist working with full-blown AIDS, all my clients would have been dead. But I came from a belief that you can make it happen instantly. And I remember speaking to John Grinder, and I was going to do my master practitioner, and I was very excited. I was really quite young, thinking, oh my God, isn't this magnificent what I'm actually doing? And I was, there's a swish pattern where you swish in a good picture. If you know you're working with someone, it's a technique, and you switch the good picture in. And I was telling him, and I said, oh my God, and I was explaining to John Grinder, you know, these are his techniques, and I was getting everybody to swish in the bad picture. And even though I was getting them to swish in the bad picture, they still made incredible positive changes. And John Grinder turned around to me and he said, actually, Shireen, now what you're going to learn is that the intention of the therapist is a higher logical level than any therapy or any technique. So that is so, you know, find somebody that really has such a belief, and also look at people who've changed their lives. If you're going to do any kind of change work, look at I have to be honest, I don't care about your qualifications. I don't care how many degrees, because I've worked with so many Oxford and Cambridge graduates. I don't care. I look at, you know, what is how has that person been able to make a difference in their own life? And for me, that's the qualification I want if I'm going to have you working with me. So there are lots of, and I think in this group here, what I found, and it's wonderful coming along and doing this meditation, is everybody is looking to walk their talk. And that's wonderful. You know, that's what I want. It's fantastic. And thank you, Madhu and Ram. You know, it's what I love your sessions. I just really, really inspirational. Great.
Thank you, Shireen. No, we love you too. We love you too. Always you get that energy of inspiration and oneness. So very grateful to you. We love you. Yes, friends. Okay. So that was a wonderful, what to say, life-changing words that were shared here. So thanks a lot, Mehak, for being here with all of us and sharing such a beautiful, beautiful topic that is personally very close to me.
Thank you, Ram, and thank you, Madhu, for giving me the opportunity to talk to such an amazing group. I'm so full of energy right now. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, friends. So we have a couple of announcements. So tomorrow morning, we have a session as usual on We Heal Ourselves. And then followed by that, tomorrow, we also have International Yoga Day, June 21st. So PSSM and PMC is organizing a lot of sessions. And tomorrow, India time, Madhu, can you please share those details of the timings?
Yes, Ram. So friends, it's going to start at 3 p.m. India time. 3 to 4 p.m. we will be having Patrician, followed by many masters. And as I told you before also, there is this master, there is this wonderful author, Vladimir Megre. He's from Russia, and he wrote this wonderful books on Anastasia. So like that, there are so many masters coming up and sharing their topics. And mainly the theme of tomorrow is where Patri sir had given that many people have an idea that yoga is just asanas or the postures, but yoga is much more than that. Yoga is a union with your own self. So tomorrow's theme is sir had given is yoga is meditation. So many masters who come tomorrow who share their topic is on this theme. So please do join us, and it's going to start at 3 p.m. India time, and it will be for 12 hours or 12 to 13 hours. This event will go, and please do join. Please, you can tune into PMC English. So there you will find this event happening, and enjoy it. And please do share this event to your friends as well, so that they can also benefit from this. So thank you so much, Ram.
Thank you, Madhu. And also, friends, starting from today, 9:30 p.m., we are having the second round of 21 days, 21 minutes meditation with Middle East and Cairo. So if you have any friends in Middle East, any friends in Cairo, all these part of the world, we are starting at 21 days, 21 minutes for all those who want to experiment with the practice of meditation. So share it to your near and dear. And yes, anything else, Madhu? Did I miss? You want to add anything?
All is good, Ram. Yeah.
Okay, super. Okay, friends, thanks a lot. And we connect back very soon. Namaste.